Hello crafters! In this video I'm going to walk you through the steps of using a template that I've purchased to create an Argyle glitter tumbler. When I'm not sure of the color combos, I will often print off the color pattern that I choose. However, sometimes I'm still on the fence, so I'll actually add some glitter to my paper template to make sure that my choices do go well together. I'd rather use up this little bit of glitter than to do the whole tumbler and decide that I don't like it. So I've already used my Cricut to cut the Argyle template onto some white vinyl. It doesn't matter what color you use, and you can actually use removable vinyl as it is only being used as your template. I tend to use what I have the most of, and I do consider the cost of what I'm using, as the vinyl will end up in the trash anyways. So I start off by drawing a line on my tumbler to make sure that I'm starting off with a straight edge. This makes it all easier to ensure that my vinyl goes around the circumference of my tumbler straight. This becomes most important where the seams meet up, as you want to make sure that the pattern has stayed consistent. I don't really recommend skipping this step, as it sets the stage for the rest of the entire tumbler. So I trim off about 1/4 inch of the backing so I can secure it along that straight line that I drew. It's just a matter of peeling the backing off, making sure that the cut vinyl lays flat on the tumbler. I just do small portions at a time, smoothing it as I go. I also keep an eye on the backing to make sure that the vinyl pattern is actually staying in place and doesn't come off with the backing. I don't pull too hard on the vinyl, as I don't want to stretch it. However, I do like to keep it pulled a little bit tight so that it lays nice and flat, and then it decreases the chances of any air bubbles or ripples that you might get. And I smooth out whatever lines or bubbles that I might have as I do go. It's just a matter of doing small portions at a time and smoothing it as you go. And when you've got it all straight, then you will peel off your transfer paper so that you can start the next step. You can see here where my seams are, where they do meet up, that I've got a portion that did not meet up perfectly. That's actually going to be okay, because after I pull the vinyl off for the first 3 diamonds, that kind of sets the stage for the next part. So you'll see that I've got just a little bit that don't line up, so I'm just going to use my scissors to trim that vinyl. An X-Acto knife may have been better, perhaps, a bit more efficient, but it wasn't within my reach. But now that I've trimmed these, then they line up perfectly, so now I can carry on and peel away all the diamonds for the first color in my pattern. So I'm just going to peel away 1 diamond at a time until I have them all removed for my first color. I did get ahead of myself right there, and I pulled off a part that I shouldn't have. So I'm just going to peel off the next diamond, and the third diamond, and that spare piece of vinyl that I just pulled off, I'm going to use that to place over top so that my diamonds meet up. So every little mistake is always fixable. The next process is to add a base paint for the color glitter that I'm going to use. You always want to start with your darkest color first. It's very important because otherwise when you start adding the glitters, you don't want to have your light colors going into the dark, if that makes sense. So the first color that I'm using 3 different colors. So the darkest is black. So I'm going to paint all the pieces that I removed the vinyl from. I'm going to give them a good coat of black paint. I'm using the Aurora 3-in-1 Liquorice. So I will do all of these diamonds here the same, and then I'm going to let it dry for about half an hour. I'm choosing to add a second layer, a second coat of the licorice paint, just because I want a good solid background for my black glitter. So I waited half an hour, and now I'm just going over and giving it a second coat. After I've let my paint dry another half hour, I'm ready to start adding the black glitter. So what I've done is I've added some of the Helios 2 Crafter's Glue into a container, and I've mixed it with the licorice paint. So when I paint it on, my glitter glue is still black, so I'm not taking away from my black glitter. So I'm just going on and I'm doing a couple diamonds at a time, and I'm adding the mixture of Helios and black paint onto a diamond, and then I'm adding my glitter, and then I'll just knock it off, and then I will proceed to the next and continue this way until all the diamonds have been completed. So I finished adding the black glitter to all of the diamonds, and then I've let it dry for half an hour, and now I'm going to smush my glitter into the glue. So I'm wrapping it around the parchment paper, and then I'm going to just press each diamond so that I'm efficiently making sure that my glitter doesn't all fall off. I almost edited this out because I discovered after the fact that this was not a good idea to include this step, but I will show you as I go why this was a problem and how to correct it in the future. So after I've finished smooshing it, then I'm going to use my brush and knock off all the excess glitter, or brush off all the excess glitter. If you are following along and doing your tumbler as we go here, I want you to note that I am using the glitter glue to seal the glitter here. If you are doing this, please do not use the glitter glue on this step. If you want to seal your glitter, go ahead and use Hyperion, and you will see why in the next steps. You don't have to seal it in between, but if you do, please make sure that you use the Hyperion here and not the glitter glue. So I actually let my glitter glue dry for 2 hours before I started the next step. The next step is exactly the same as the first. We're going to remove all the vinyl pieces for our second color. So keeping in the pattern, you're only removing the vinyl where the next color is going to go. My next color is like a rose color glitter. So I'm just removing the vinyl where the rose glitter is going to go. So again, we're going to add a base color underneath our glitter. So I'm using Strawberry Shortcake of the Aurora 3-in-1 paint. And wherever I've removed the vinyl, I'm just going to go ahead and paint on the base color. I'm going to make sure that as I do it, I'm going to be butting right up to where the black is, so that I don't have any gaps. So I'll just finish all of these and paint them all with the Strawberry Shortcake background. So I've let it the base coat dry for half an hour, and now this time I'm going to just do a second coat with the Strawberry Shortcake and the Helios. So I'm doing the second coat with both like the glue and the Strawberry Shortcake, and then I'm adding my glitter. And you will see here where the problem is. I'm brushing off the excess glitter, but because I used Helios glue, you're going to notice that because the Helios stays sticky, that the black is still sticky where I sealed it, so the pink is going to actually stick to it, and you'll see it as we go. But we're just going to continue on because I have to finish what I've started. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to add the Helios Crafter's Glue that's been mixed with the Strawberry Shortcake, and then I'm going to add the glitter to all the remaining diamonds that I've already painted. I've let the strawberry shortcake dry for 2 hours, so we're now ready to add our third and final color, which is the gold. So once again, as in the previous steps, you're removing all the vinyl, and then you're going to go ahead and base coat the remainder diamonds with gold. I'm using the gold Aurora 3-in-1, and then I'll add some Helios Glitter Glue to the gold paint, and I will then use that as my base and add my glitter as well. So normally I would come here and I would smoosh and seal my glitter. As you know, I already smooshed and sealed my black glitter, and then I decided that that was a mistake and told you to go ahead and use Hyperion if you wanted to seal instead of the glitter glue. And this is why, because you can see here after I've smooshed my glitter that when I try to clean up my tumbler, um, all the glitter has stuck to the black. Black is the only color that I did use the Helios to seal before I realized my error. So what I'm doing now is I'm brushing off all of the excess glitter, and then I'm going to go to the steps to fix this. Essentially, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over all of the glitter diamonds again, starting with the darkest color. It doesn't hurt to put on the second coat anyways, and it's certainly going to clean it up. I'm not going to lie, I had misgivings about whether to keep moving forward or not, but I felt it was important to be able to share errors with you like this so that you don't make the same errors. So I've gone ahead and I'm just going to apply a second coat of the glue and the glitter to all the colors. So we're starting off with the black. After I do the black, I'll then move ahead to the rose and then finish off with the gold. After I fixed it up and put on the second coats of glitter, it's right where we want it to be, and now we can go on to our next steps. I missed recording the part where I smushed the glitter after it had dried for half an hour. So I smushed the glitter and then I brushed off the excess glitter, and now I'm applying a layer of the Helios Crafter's Glue so that I can seal all three glitters in so that we can proceed to adding our Hyperion. So I let the glue dry for a full 2 hours, and now I'm adding on my first coat of Hyperion. I'm adding a good flood coat. There's about almost 10 milliliters of Hyperion in here. I'm using Hyperion Gloss. So I will let it dry for 2 hours, and then I ended up putting on another 2 full coats, waiting 2 hours in between each coat. After I waited the 2 hours after the third coat, then I gave it a good level sand using a 220 grit sandpaper. So I've got the sanded tumbler here. That's why it's looking rather dull right now, but it's nice and level, and it's ready for my next coat of Hyperion. However, I wanted to add my nail tape to finish off the design. So I'm using the wider tape to go on both sides of the black. With the nail tape, I found that you've just got to be pretty careful. You don't want to pull it tight because you will rip it or stretch it. So just let it gently glide over your design. And then I left a little bit of excess at the end. And then after I finished with the thicker layer, I used the thinner layer of the nail tape, still using the gold, to do in between the blacks. After I had all the nail tape down, then I just used my fingers to make sure that all the tape was adhered well to the tumbler. And then I used my scissors to trim off the excess tape at the top and the bottom of the tumbler. And then it's ready to put on the turner and start adding some Hyperion. Now that I have my pinstriping all done, I'm ready to put on some more coats of Hyperion. So here I'm adding the first coat after the nail tape. I ended up adding another one coat after this, so two coats, and then I gave it just a light sand and I added one more coat, and that seems to have done the trick. I'm quite happy with the way it's finished. The initial sand that I did was really good, so it really didn't need a whole lot more. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Should you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. Be happy to help you. Now I did go put another layer of Hyperion on, but as it seems I do for every single video, I think I'm clicking record and I don't. So I didn't get that, but you have seen how to put Hyperion on, so I'm not worried about that. And I've already applied the cheetah print to the bottom part of the tumbler. I've just used black vinyl and I put it right over top of the glitter. And now I'm adding my name to the tumbler. And again, it's in black vinyl too. So I'm just going to add that. And then again, as I said before, I always forget to click on record. So I did put another two coats of Hyperion on over top of my decals. And then I checked it, sorry, three coats, and then I gave it another quick sand, and then I put on another two layers of Hyperion. So about every third coat approximately, I will do a sand if necessary. It helps keep the shine up, make sure it's nice and smooth. So I'll put on my, as always, you put on your Hyperion, you wait 2 hours. At three coats, you'll give it a light sand, you'll clean it off, and then you'll add your Hyperion again. So after I added two more coats of Hyperion, I had a nice smooth tumbler and was ready to go, and this is what I was left with.